Yay Media Group.
Hey guys, it's Stephanie.
I'm Trey.
This is your weekly dose of BS.
Okay, I watched NextGen NYC. Is that what it's called? Or maybe it's just called NextGen. Did you watch it?
No.
Wow.
But
It was
you
really
said
good.
you thought it was like one of the better shows.
It was really good, and it was hot right out the gate. I wasn't expecting much,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you, they delivered. And
Who delivered the most? Like everybody?
Ariana Biermann,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
because she revealed very graciously that her mom, and no, she did not say her mom. She said her parents
So mom and dad, yeah.
basically took all the money that she's earned from the time she was 14 until she was 18. So she was like, I've been on reality television since I was 5. I have grown this Instagram following. And when I was 14, I started getting brand deals. And she was like, this was no small amount of money. It was a lot of money. And my parents were putting that in a savings account for me. And when it came time for me to have access to that, it was gone.
So probably hundreds of thousands of dollars.
For sure.
Has Kim or Croy said anything?
No. And I think they're smarter than us, so I think that's why they're not saying anything, because they know how this is going to play out. Ariana said in interviews that anytime her mom has borrowed money from her, that she's paid her back or she's working on paying her back. So she said that a lot of this money that she's making on other shows that she's doing, like she did The Surreal Life, she did How to Get Out, or was that whatever that show was on Hulu, that like Get Out of the House show, she made money on that, so she's repaying her with those kinds of things. So there's repair coming, but man, Kim's getting it this week.
I think I also saw somewhere where she said that her mom will constantly call her to borrow money too. I think I saw something, which means she's still doing it.
Yeah, I think
it's
she's
for
still
the kids, and then
borrowing
she'll
money.
be drinking like a $2,000 bottle of wine.
Yes.
Kim Zolciak, just go get a bottle of Prisoner. It's so good. It's $40. How is my phone on? It's $40. It's so good. It's $40. Call it a day. You don't need a $2,000 bottle of wine.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
You know what? I think that I'm going to be honest. That is something that pisses me off. I hate when people do wrong by their children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's disgusting. It's inexcusable. And I think it takes a very selfish, self-centered person to go and steal from your own children.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like that at all. I just think that's something like you hear that happening a lot of times with people in the entertainment industry,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like she was using it to do any. I mean, she was gambling and buying a bunch of clothes and handbags and living a very extravagant life. So it's not like she was, somebody was dying and she was using it for, to help cure somebody, or like she was, she had something incurable disease. She was doing it for frivolous stuff.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like, on like the Brielle side, was the same thing happening there?
I'm sure it's just not just one kid.
Yeah.
I have somebody that I know who I'm close with, and I just think this, like, parents have to be really careful with their kids. And her mom and dad have always really struggled with, back in the day, addiction, but financially they've always struggled. And she said whenever she did not realize it, but whenever she got out of high school, she went to get her own apartment and try to be out on her own. Oh. And her parents would constantly like get their electricity and stuff turned off, their phones and everything turned off. And they messed their credit up so bad that then they started doing it in all their children's names. So she got out of high school and like her credit was completely ruined. They had like literally opened up all these accounts, like water, for like water and phone and electricity, and completely destroyed her credit. And I don't know. I just think it's just crazy to me that people can do that, because there's, I think I would rather live under a tent than like take money from my children. But I know not everybody. Yeah. But her thing is also a little different, because her parents were like, couldn't pay their water bill. Like this girl that I'm talking about, they were like, and then like Kim, I don't know.
I mean, Kim was also using Ariana's money to pay the water bill. Like, it was those little bills that like Ariana was fronting, or she was sending her mom money. But then she was getting frustrated because her mom was drinking a $200 glass of wine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
so it's like,
but the thing is you have to. That's why I just think with a lot of people you have to like have some kind of financial sense, or the person you're married to has to. If you have two people who are not financially savvy, it can really be a recipe for, you know, like it's, it makes me sad for her, because that's also putting yourself out there, making all that money. Being on TV is hard enough as an adult, but if you're a kid and you like really grew up in front of the cameras and you had all these brand deals and you were making your own money and you thought all this was waiting for you, and then you
find out it's all gone.
And it was done. That kind of happened to Honey Boo Boo too, remember?
Oh yeah. No, same thing.
And then you find out that all of this stuff that you were told was here for you really isn't. I don't know. I don't like that. I just think it's not like be good to your kids. Like if there's one person you need to be honest with, it's your family.
Well, the show's good, and I think it's gonna be a really good season. So you have Ariana Biermann, you have Riley Burris, who I think is gonna be like second breakout. It's gonna be Ariana first,
and then Riley.
Riley. You have Brooks Marks, and then you have Gia Giudice. She really wasn't. Ariana's definitely leading the show.
Yeah,
which is good. So I think it's gonna be a great. Bravo needed a new, fresh, young cast, because like Summer House, they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
Vanderpump, they're in their 40s. Like,
and Vanderpump, they like are kind of did without. They're revamping the whole thing, right?
Well, same with Summer House.
Yeah.
Like half that cast quit.
Yeah. I mean, there's like Paige. I think she's like a little grown out of it almost.
She's bigger than Bravo now.
Yeah. I don't blame her for, I'm sure it was her decision, but I don't blame her for being like, okay, I think sometimes you have to move forward. But it's also really smart of them to talk about the wives, because that's going to bring in the older audience who are like, how dare you, Kim? Yeah, how dare you, Kimberly? Because so I think it's really smart.
It's a good show though. I'll keep watching it. I was pleasantly surprised. It feels very Gossip Girl.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Like there's a Chuck Bass. There's different. Everyone fits a role.
Yeah.
Very well.
So what's Ariana's role?
I think she's more Serena.
So she's like
Maybe she's Blair. She might be more Blair. Yeah, but it's a good
really
show.
Good? Okay.
I'd recommend it. And then I did see this week, and I wanted to talk to you about this. I know we chatted about this a little bit, but one of the girls, I can't remember her name, from Atlanta, did not show up to the reunion.
Okay.
And she is suing Bravo for $20 million because of the whole Kenya situation.
Okay.
I can't think of what that girl's name is. But am I wrong in thinking that it was in your contract that you can't sue production, or like, don't you waive your right to that?
I don't know. I just remember my contract being very short and sweet and was mostly about money. I don't know if it was about like, you can't sue people. I don't know. I mean, I really think it just depends on circumstances too. I don't know what the circumstance is. But I don't know if anybody's that. There are certain things that happen in life that you should be able to get sued for.
I feel like we learned this though with, who was it? Someone sued. Oh, Joanna Krupa sued Brandi Glanville. And she was able to get away with it because they weren't on the same cast. But when, who was it? Jim Bellino sued Tamra and Shannon. He got away with that because he didn't sign anything, but Alexis did. So, like, Alexis couldn't sue them. So, I feel like we've read this in the media before that, like, there's something in your contract. And it's probably like the season one, like the big, thick one that you don't really fully read.
No, but I didn't have a big, thick contract.
Huh.
I mean, I can tell you, I don't.
Well, she's not getting $20 million, that's for sure. So it's Britt Eady. She's alleging sexual harassment, but it's all around the whole Kenya thing.
I mean, I don't know. I just think it depends on if you have sexual harassment can be something that maybe is a little difficult to prove sometimes. I think if you have proof and you have, I don't know.
There's proof.
I mean,
like,
then
it was all recorded.
Then maybe she has a case. I don't know enough. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know enough about it, but I don't believe that there's some ironclad, like, lockdown, you can never sue. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happened in her case either. So
to me, it seems odd because, one, you're not getting $20 million out of Bravo, but you've also lost your Peach. and Kenya was fired. Like, they handled the situation no matter, of course you didn't like what happened, but they did get rid of her. So it just seems a little odd to me.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on.
Because and I mean, maybe her argument is that producers encouraged Kenya to do that, and that's why she's suing. That makes a little more sense. But, like, they can't control what Kenya does. But how much of that situation would you say is production?
I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I do think that there needs to be accountability for, like, what happens on set. I don't think you can have producers that push it too far if that's what happened without any accountability from Bravo or anybody else. All that stuff is, you do have a mic on you. And I think that in my opinion, that was kind of becoming a little bit of an issue with reality TV. It was taking it a little too far. I think I've talked about this before, but there was a time, and I think now that they're kind of pulling back where it's a little bit more fun, which I appreciate. But kind of like back in the day, and I think I've said this again, like in the 90s, the big thing was, Sally Jesse Raphael and Jerry Springer and all this, and it went from being a very, like, lighthearted thing to everybody was pushing the envelope, right? Like, it was all about ratings, pushing the envelope. And the thing with the audience is you almost get desensitized to things, and you want more. It's the shock value has to be up. You're no longer shocked by simple things, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember Housewives, when somebody got divorced, shocking. I mean, when Lynn had somebody go with eviction papers, shocking, like, blew your mind, shocking, right? That's nothing now, correct? But I remember everything kind of turned whenever, I think it was Sally Jesse Raphael, I forget, one of them.
I know what you're thinking of, and I can't.
It was one of the, Jenny Jones, I believe.
Yes.
Had, like, somebody on, like, a secret admirer, and it was a guy, and I think it was, like, another guy and another guy that he was but they made it into, like, oh, there's this girl that has a secret, that's your secret admirer. And all I know is after the show, the guy was actually, from what I remember, was kind of a stalker, and ended up, the person on the show ended up shooting and killing this person. So it became, that show escalated it to somewhere it would never have been if they weren't on that show. And then you saw everything change within that sphere, because it was almost, they were like, oh, wait, actually our show and the things we put out there has consequences, right? Like, major consequences. And I think reality TV is kind of at that place.
So, like obviously there were measures put into place after that situation to make sure that didn't happen again. Do you feel like that barrier kind of went down and now we're having to pull that barrier back up again?
Well, I think that the daytime talk show settled down because there was all these lawsuits going on, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of transitioned into reality TV was a new daytime talk show, and it was more light and fun. And then it became darker and darker and darker. And then there always comes a point with everything where an explosion of some sort is going to happen. Like, something really bad's going to happen, and something's going to go really south, especially when you're talking about people's lives. And reality TV, even though it's people watching it, it's a form of, like, escapism and a form of entertainment. To the people who are in it, it is your life. And a lot of times you feel like your life is going to be ruined and people are out to get you. And it feels so overwhelming, and it can feel very toxic. And I had it real easy compared to a lot of people. I'm going to say that right now. Like, I leave having good feelings about my reality TV life, but I know that's not everybody. Like, I know that. So I think that Bravo is hopefully just being very aware of that, and you have to change it a little bit. Like, I think it got too dark. I do. I think it got way too dark, and that's why people did not watch it as much, and that's why the viewership went down. And now they're doing shows like the one that you're talking about,
like
more
NextGen,
Gossip Girl, which I haven't watched, but I'm guessing it's a little bit more fun and lighthearted and, like, a little bit more, like, quirky.
Yeah, I would say it's a little more real. Like, especially the first episode, like, Brooks was upset because one of the friends in their friend group was taking his sister on a date and made some comment of, like, maybe we'll meet up with you later, maybe not, if, like, we go back to my house. And he was like, excuse me? With my sister? No.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. That's a little more.
But that's very different than like
very
grown-ass
lighthearted.
women trying to destroy each other's lives, right?
Right.
And doing like, what was this, like a revenge porn thing or something crazy?
Yeah.
That's super different.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of them is something that like is a life situation that everyone can relate to.
Right.
The other one is something that could potentially ruin somebody's reputation and livelihood. So I do think you have to be really careful with how these shows go about. But I also get that producers, they rise up based on the shows they're on and how popular they are and how well they do. So there's just a catch-22. I think it's a really hard dance.
Would you ever let Chance or Cruz do a reality show?
No.
Really?
I mean,
Why?
No, I would ask them not to.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if they're 18, then I can't.
But why would you
them,
not want them to do that?
Because I did it and I know how toxic it is.
Mm-hmm.
And myself 5 years later, I would never do Housewives again because I'm a very different person.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of healing that had to go outside of that show. I would never want my friends to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would never want my kids to do it. There's better ways to make money. And I also think that there is the thing that I've learned in life is whenever you put yourself out there, you have like really amazing people that follow you, like fans and everything that are amazing, but you also have these vultures that try to get into your life, destroy your life, create drama in your life. You have the bad people, very, very few of them, but with the good, and it's not worth it. Like you have to protect your family and your sanity. And yeah, no, I would never. I would tell my kids, don't do it.
I was talking to a friend this morning, funny enough, and she has a big social following. She's like a fashion blogger. And she was just talking about how she's really changed what she posts because she values her privacy so much more now at this stage of life. But I feel like that's kind of like the overall just like arching vibe around social media. Because like even myself, Zach does not ever post on social media.
Yeah.
Like if he does, it's a rare day and it's something special's going down. So he posted. I used to just like talk about anything and everything, but I kind of don't like everyone knowing my business now, which is just like, I'm like, I don't want you to know.
Yeah, I feel like I pulled back some, and maybe a lot of it's because I felt like I had to whenever I was doing that TV show. But no, I would never. I would never want my kids to do it. But some people really are great. Like I think Bethany was great for reality TV because she didn't care. I think some people don't care, and that's very, very different. But for me and my family, I'd rather protect each other. And I'm like, kids, I would rather pay you to not do it. How much are you gonna make? I will give you that money.
Do you feel like your boys aren't on social media as much because you're so big on social media? Do you think there's like a correlation there?
I don't know. I mean, I think I could see Chance getting more into it the older he gets.
Even though he doesn't like post much.
No,
like,
he doesn't. Do you
think like because their earlier lives were exposed that they're like more private just in general?
Maybe, and I think I've always just kind of told them. I've always been very aware, like honest with them about like I check who follows them and stuff because unfortunately for them, people will get on there. They'll, these catfish accounts will try to pretend like they're these hot little girls like wanting to be your girlfriend. And I mean, my kids are very aware of the dark side of social media because I felt like I had to tell them that side of it. And maybe other people don't feel like they have to do that with their kids, but I felt like my kids would be a target because of who I am almost. So my kids maybe know too much of the dark side of it. And also, I don't think my kids care to be Instagram famous or TikTok famous or whatever. Like they just kind of get on there and they'll do silly things with their friends. But I mean, not really. I'm glad they're not. I'm just like, I'm glad they're not. I'm like, you live your life and be happy. And social media, I think especially for girls, it can be so damaging because it's very filtered. So I don't feel like my kids are, I hope they continue like this. I hope they date girls that are like that. Like just,
I remember this was maybe 5-6 years ago. I was with Cruz at a Chick-fil-A one day after school, and there was some girl taking pictures of him that was like a fan of the show. And I grabbed that girl's phone, and she lost it. And I was like, he's a kid. He's eating chicken nuggets. That's weird.
No.
And I deleted the photos off her phone. She's like, I'm calling the police. I was like, call him.
Yeah,
weirdo.
like, do not take pictures of my children, please. Yeah. No, now I enjoy sharing my kids with people on social media because they're growing up so fast, and I'm really proud of them. But when I tell you, if I post a picture of Chance, my 16-year-old, I have to have full permission. He has to look at that picture, make sure that he approves it. Cruz, not so much, but Chance is like, yeah, like I have to have permission for him, and that's fair. I'm like,
Well, and we have a friend that she's a fashion blogger, and she, on her private page, she'll post pictures of her kids. But then I've noticed on her public page, she never posts a picture of their face. And I've asked her about it, and she's like, I don't, until they can like give me permission to like post a photo, I don't want to have them all over the internet. And I didn't understand that for a while, and now I do. Now I get it. Like, why you wouldn't want to expose your kids, because it's not just, people don't just say nice things. There are weird people that post weird things, and they keep track of you, and they do. It's like, no.
I mean, I'm kind of lucky. I feel like all the weirdos don't follow me anymore. Like they kind of, it's not as fun when you don't have something to talk about every week. Most people that follow me, they're very positive. I really don't have any negativity, and if I do, I block them immediately because I'm like, oh, you're pissed me off.
Her comment section used to be wild. It was like, people were like, love you, have a great day, be blessed, drink bleach, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. It's hard.
And it would change week to week.
And and you say, would I want that for my children? Why would I ever want that for my children? Why would I ever want that?
Yeah.
I would never want that for my kids. First of all, I would go to jail because I would find that person that told my kid to drink bleach, and I would kill them, and then I would end up in jail because I'm like, you can say that to me, but don't you dare.
Well, it didn't go well when they said it to her either.
No.
She cried.
I'm like, yeah, I did. I was like, Trey, I need you to wake up every morning and look at all my comments and delete them.
Delete.
Yep. So sad. Okay.
Good stuff.
Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. You can follow me at Steph Hollman on Instagram and Facebook.
You can follow me at Trey_Stewart. You can follow our podcast at BS the Podcast. And you can watch us on YouTube at Weekly Dose of BS. Bye.
Yay Media Group.